Hello you guys and welcome to my channel. I'm so excited to have you here. So in today's video, I'm going to be doing another MLM horror stories. I hope that you guys are having an amazing day, an amazing Friday, and I'm excited to be posting today. So I know a lot of you guys have requested that I go back to doing MLM horror stories every single Friday. And I was like, you know what? Let's meet in the middle. Instead of every single Friday, I was thinking of doing every other Friday, possibly. So we'll see. We're going to go with the flow in 2023 and see what works, but I thought, why not today upload one? I've got the horror stories in my email, so why not read them? So with that being said, if you would like me to read more MLM horror stories, definitely make sure to send me your MLM horror story in my email down below. I will keep you anonymous, or I will say your name, whichever that you prefer. But yes, if you guys would like me to continue reading, then you guys can send me your stories and then I can read them here on my channel. So with that being said, let's get into it. So the first story says, "Hi Deanna, I have recently come across your channel and I have an MLM horror story to share. I was in college and coming out of a really bad relationship, and I had just recently quit from the cross-country team I was a part of. I had a really good group of friends who encouraged me to keep going out of my dorm and to hang out with them. Keep in mind, my college is in the middle of nowhere, so there isn't much to do besides sports or parties. We drive a little ways out to a little shopping complex, and while there, I met this person and started chatting with her. Let's call her Rose. Now, Rose seemed nice enough, and I did get her phone number. I texted her when I got back, and she mentioned she had worked on her business. Or she mentioned she had to work on her business. This kind of shocked me as we were college age, so I asked her about it. She seemed really passionate about it and asked if I wanted to meet up and she could talk more about it, and of course I said yes. When I get to the coffee shop we agreed to, I was kind of shocked to see another person there. This turned out to be her mentor and pitched me this opportunity they were in, selling household products everyone needs and whatnot. After about 30 minutes of talking, he asked if I wanted to come to their meeting the next night. Not wanting to hurt Rose's feelings, I agreed. It turns out to be a meeting for Amway. I've never really heard about Amway or MLMs before I listened to this pitch for new recruits, and I was sucked in. For the duration of Rose and I's relationship, we focused on this business. Thank God I eventually passed my classes and got my bachelor's degree because I realized pretty quickly that this was not going to work. I kind of followed Rose's lead and just went through the motions and trying to explain to her this wasn't going to work for me. The thing that caused us to eventually split was when my best friend of 12 years asked me to be a groomsman, and she told me I couldn't go to this wedding because we had an Amway convention thing to go to. I told her if she truly feels that way, that Amway is more important than my best friend, then she can go and this is over between us. It's wild to see MLM reps sometimes have such entitlement to people's lives and what it is that they're doing. We see this a lot when conventions are happening. Top reps are on their Instagram stories and they're posting to their team page and they're saying, I think I just did this in an MLM Fails or something where I read this, but the person literally said on their Instagram stories, my life is hard. I got the week off. You should be able to figure it out. And if you didn't, I don't feel bad for you. And it's like, yeah, you got the week off of doing what you needed to do because you don't even work. Like what you're doing, your MLM is your job, and that's what you do full time. And you make enough money, you make hundreds of thousands of dollars a year to be able to afford daycare or childcare or nannies or things like that for when you are out of town. Someone can watch your kid. So I've seen this happen time and time again when it comes to conventions, that people at the top of MLMs feel so entitled to your time. They feel entitled to your money and they feel entitled to be able to tell you how to live your life. So that's just interesting because no, you should not miss your best friend's wedding to go to an MLM convention. Never, ever, ever, ever. Please do not do that. I've seen people do it before. Please do not miss huge events of your family's lives to go to an MLM convention that literally in the grand scheme of life doesn't mean anything. So let's continue. They said, the whole thing sucked and I lost a relationship and $2,000 I was never going to get back. But it was worth it to see my best friend marry the love of his life, and I eventually found mine. Rose is still in Amway, and she's still convinced that it'll work out. It's sad to see, but I know there's nothing I can do. Thank you for your time, and I hope you nothing but the best. Yeah, you're not wrong. Sometimes when someone has been in an MLM for so long, there's nothing that you could really do. Yes, you can always give advice, you can answer questions, you can maybe post like resources on your social media if they see it. Maybe they'll click on it and will take the time to actually listen or read or watch whatever it is that you're posting. But once someone gets so far into an MLM, sometimes there's nothing you can really do to help them out until they're ready for that. And sometimes it can take months, it can take years for someone to get to that place where they're ready to listen to people on the outside about their MLM. So for the next story, it is about Isagenix, and they wrote chronic illness next to it. They said, "Hi Deanna, I have been loving your anti-MLM content. I wanted to share the biggest MLM fail I have personally had. You can use my name if you want, and I wanted to share a little about how I feel I am a target prey for MLMers. So a little backstory, I have quite a few chronic illnesses that I've been battling for the past 5 years. I publicly share my story on Instagram, and it has been a great outlet for me, and I am passionate about spreading awareness and educating others. However, I have found that I am now a target market for MLMers. I had a big surgery in which I had 5 organs/partial organs removed: the pancreas, spleen, gallbladder, duodenum, I'm not sure what that is or if I even said that right, and lower stomach. Because of this, digestion is difficult for me. The pancreas produces insulin and vital enzymes for digestion, which I have to supplement, and it's not a perfect process. I follow guidelines from my doctor and my doctor only. The MLMers are constantly in my DMs, whether it's preying on the fact that I'm unable to work due to my disabilities and the amazing business opportunity they're offering, or them trying to sell me their miracle digestive pills or their diabetes curing oils. It's gross. Leave sick people alone. We have enough to deal with, and the fact that these MLMers are trying to benefit from our suffering is unbelievable to me. Why would you want to put me further into debt for your gain? I will never understand." Quick example/story before I wrap up. I posted an IG story about a prescription that I take that keeps me alive. A former coworker of mine who is in Isagenix DMs me and replied to that story. Isagenix sells a variety of health and wellness supplements. She was trying to tell me that I can use their all-natural, non-pharmaceutical products instead of my prescription medication. Whenever an MLMer contacts me, especially a friend, I try to be as polite as possible. I explained to her that it's not an option for me to stop taking these medications. She wouldn't take no for an answer. I know I don't owe her any explanation, but I did think of her as a friend and didn't want to just leave her unread. I will attach a screenshot of a snippet of that conversation. First off, this girl should know better because she was a dental assistant where we worked together and she knows the basic importance of prescription medication. And secondly, she should not be making claims about what these products can do for somebody's health. What if I was naive and actually listened to her and stopped my medication? I could have died. It scares me to think that this could happen to someone else. These people are not qualified to be recommending supplements or recommending any changes to someone's healthcare regimen, just as Beachbody coaches are not qualified to recommend meal plans or nutrition advice. This DM conversation happened over a year ago, and I didn't know at the time that I could report her to the FTC for health claims. I still reported it recently because it's conversations like this that can aid in the FTC shutting these MLMs down. So here is the Instagram DMs. So the MLMer messages her and says, "What if I told you that I could refer you to a company to get some that are all natural, non-pharmaceutical, and the company is so great you can get them for free? Send me your email. I'd love to send you a few emails with info on our company and the scientific research that we've done with diabetes. But here's the link to our company." So the person who sent us this story responded and said, "It's not related to diabetes. It's just what I need so I can digest food so I don't crap myself every time I eat." The MLMer says, "Amazing global health and wellness company with amazing products and amazing business opportunity." Really? That's your only response back? It sounds like they're in a commercial. Amazing global health. Girl, didn't she just say that it's not related? That's not what she's talking about, but okay. So she responded and said, "I appreciate it. I just don't think it's appropriate for my situation. Thanks for thinking of me though." MLMer responded, "Everything is scientifically backed by research." She stated, "I know, I just have 5 missing organs, so I am not typically included in that kind of research. Oh, and kidney disease. I'm going to stick with my medications because they are working for me." The MLMer responded, "Oh, decently keep to the meds, but they offer amazing vitamins, super high quality protein. They even have an amazing skincare line and aromatherapy. They're the #1 cleanse system in the world." And then that's where she kind of left it. So I read that last one as if I was reading somebody's ad commercial because I feel like that's how it would sound. But yes, this is really the scary things that are happening with MLMs, especially your health and wellness MLMs. MLMs like Isagenix, Amway, because they have some health products. You also have a Beachbody. You have a bunch of different wellness MLMs. You even have MLMs like Arbonne. These MLMs are teaching their reps that their products are the end-all be-all cure-all for whatever it is that this person may have. And that's where the problem really comes in, because people are not joining these MLMs and just automatically thinking that it's a miracle product that is doing everything that your organs can do. No, you're going into the MLM, and then people in the MLM are specifically having to tell you that for you to end up believing it. So people aren't just going into MLMs and then the day that they join, they're talking about these life-changing products because they know that they're life-changing because it worked for them. No, they're joining these MLMs and then people are telling them to say these things. And that's where the problem lies, is that these MLMs are not safe when it comes to health and wellness products. In my opinion, I don't think that ever will be safe. I do think that a lot of people end up joining because of those vulnerabilities or the vulnerable time that they may be going through with their health. And in the end, it just makes things worse and not better. Ooh, I'm gonna like this one. So this is MLMs rampant in MILSPO groups. So that is military groups. That's what that stands for. So if anyone ever writes out like in caps MILSPO, that's essentially just your military groups on the internet or on Facebook or things like that. So this story says, "Hey girl, just had a little mini encounter with an MLM in the wild. My best friend is a military spouse and I'm active duty and married to a service member. She created a support group chat for like wives who had husbands deployed or in the field, and she let me join. Her and I are huge advocates for the anti-MLM world and will occasionally make jokes about the MLM structure, and I've even said I watch anti-MLM content for fun. Basically, the group knows we're anti-MLM, or you would at least think they know that. After this encounter, one obviously does not, or she thinks hers is the best because it's Young Living." So Young Living is actually a essential oils MLM. It's also the MLM that was ran by Gary Young, which has a lot of controversy behind him and the things that he was doing and saying. She goes, "So the story. I asked if anyone has done microneedling. I have really bad acne scars, large pores, and lots of fine lines that have really aged me, and I would like to get rid of them at least a little. I said the skin care line I'm using had made improvements and I want more. By the way, it's Tatcha and it's freaking bomb for sensitive dry skin." A couple girls offer advice on things they've done, and one girl says her skincare line has really changed her face when nothing else did. Of course, I asked her, we all know that tactic though, makes us ask you what it is. She stated it's from Young Living. I'm gonna tell you right now, I don't F with essential oils. I had a couple people tell me to ingest them, and I was covered in full body hives and went into anaphylactic shock. Never again. It also happened to my aunt. So I tell this girl this, and I said I won't use them again unless I consult an aromatherapist first, because I don't really have that type of training. And well, just look at the screenshots. Other girls who I was responding to, I blacked out in my response to them. So you just see mine and the Young Living distributors convo. So let's read it because she's going to continue writing, but when she writes, it's going to be based off of these screenshots that she sent me. So in the screenshot, Camilla is the girl that sent us the MLM horror story. She said that I could use her name, and then the other person is just MLMer. So Camilla said, "What brand do you use?" MLMer stated, "Young Living. I've tried so many brands and they all just make it worse. Young Living is the only thing that has helped." Camilla said, "Nice. Unfortunately, I'm sensitive to essential oils and I can't use any without severe allergic reactions and sometimes anaphylactic shock. I'm glad you found something that helps you though." MLMer said, "Camilla, do you know what brand you've used before of essential oils? Have you thought of making your own stuff?" Camilla said, "I do. I've just had bad experiences and will personally never use essential oils again without consulting an aromatherapist first, just because they're so powerful and I really don't have any type of training." That's a really good idea though. I'll probably look into it when I get out of the field. Thank you. MLMer said, "I'm not a certified aromatherapist, but I have taken courses." And Camilla said, "That's awesome." So as you can see, this person wants to make herself seem like she is also a expert. She may not be an aromatherapist, but she's taken courses on essential oils. It doesn't matter. This person said she's literally gone into anaphylactic shock. This person has almost died, and you're still trying to recruit them into your MLM and have them try the product that almost killed them. Yes, Young Living may not have been a product that actually made them go into anaphylactic shock. It was a different essential oil company, but it was still essential oils, and this person tried to say that, and she kind of just was still trying to push that she should try them. So Camilla said in the rest of the MLM horror story, she goes, it definitely sounds like she's still trying to sell me her oils, right? And that's hers are better. Like, I just told you I went into anaphylactic shock and you still want to sell them to me? And you think because you've taken some courses, you're on par with a certified aromatherapist? No thanks. And of course, this is my best friends group, so I don't want to start drama, but yikes. And just the day before, another spouse tried to get me to have a Scentsy party for her, which is another essential oil company. Multiple times a day, I see spouses in the Facebook groups looking for products from an MLM or trying to sell them. I hate it. I feel like military spouses are targeted so heavily because everyone knows when the service member gets paid, and most spouses are looking for something meaningful outside of the home and really looking for a community. And then they just get taken advantage of. It's so sad, and I wish I could stop it all. Anyways, I know this isn't super crazy, but I was like, damn, bro, really? Hopefully this finds you well. Much love. So yes, you are completely right. They go after military spouses. They go after people like college students, single moms. They do this because they know that those individuals are in a vulnerable positions a lot of the time. So military spouses, when they're left alone because their spouse is going overseas, or when their spouse is left alone because their spouse went into the field, or you have college students who really struggle to make full-time income because they're in school full-time. A lot of them are working minimum wage jobs and really struggling to get through college or to pay for college. You have single parents who just had a baby and people try and recruit them into companies like Beachbody and trying to get them a Beachbody already. And then you also have single parents who try and get recruited, specifically single moms, even though they just had a child. And it's because during those periods, you are going through a very vulnerable time in your life. And you're more easily manipulated by outside sources when you're a college student going through financial things, taking out student loans, or you're a new mom going through what you're going through emotionally with that, or when you're a military spouse and your spouse is always gone, always in the field, always overseas. So it's definitely a huge issue with MLMs, and military spouses are 1,000% a group of people that get targeted. They're in the top 4 groups of people that get targeted for multi-level marketing companies. So thank you so much for sending that. I love talking about military spouses and stuff like that when it comes to multi-level marketing companies, specifically because I was in the Army myself, and then I also was a military spouse once I ended up getting out of the military and my husband was actively in. So yes, I definitely like to read those stories and spread awareness about that. So let's read one more. I feel like I always read 4 every single time that I do MLM horror stories, but this one goes MLM horror story number 1. So this person actually sends me 3 MLM horror stories, but we're only going to read 1 today. So this horror story says, great content as always. I guess I can start with a few of my own horror stories. I will keep it as short as possible. I got one of those notices in the mail about how you can earn incredible income. Wait, through the mail? Through the mail? I've never seen that. She goes, you had to reserve your spot to come to the seminar being held 3 times a day and to select your time. So I decided to show up in the afternoon since it would take up about 4 to 5 hours at a time. I think they included lunch as well. Lots of people attended, so I got to watch the expressions on people's faces as this so-called business was explained, which turned out to be getting vending machines placed in local businesses in our area for free. The money would be made keeping those machines stocked with products the businesses wanted to buy from the machines. The interesting part here is that they were saying free a whole lot during the presentation, along with the speakers saying that they had several locations with more than one machine going at once. They had people fill out applications as though they were getting some sort of credit application for the machines they wanted to operate. I just put down some fake info so I could leave. Once completed the form and was walking back to my car, a lady approached me saying that this wasn't the business she thought it was, and I said the same. So she started talking about a business that she currently does and handed me a business card so I could call her later about it. A few days passed and I decided to call the number, and she told me she wanted to send her friend to my home to do a presentation, and if I had someone that was interested, just to make sure to have them there as well. So some guy shows up to do the presentation and starts talking about the income and the products, and I said, sure, this sounds a lot like Amway. Then he says, it's not that at all. So he starts drawing the circles about the downlines and income potential and buying products from yourself for yourself. When it was all said and done, I was convinced to sign up, and I didn't pay fully for it, yet somehow I was a member. Shortly after sign up, I was told I needed to attend the bigger meetings that they held weekly. I started to notice the same people at the meeting with maybe a few new folks at a time. Seems these so-called successful people were wearing old, tired suits for some reason. I was told that since I was a member, I need to start placing orders for my products, and I would have to drive like 40 miles to pick them up from her. Keep in mind, she was not my sponsor. The guy she sent over was my sponsor, and she was his sponsor that was living in her house. So she wanted me to buy products and tapes all before I sponsored anyone. They handed me some checklist, and I was to list any and everyone I knew on my contacts to recruit them into the Amway business. I never got around to contacting anyone, as this drug on and on for like a year. And she tells me it's almost time for you to renew again, as I never fully paid to join in the first place. They ended up kicking the guy that sponsored me out of their house, so he wasn't much help to motivate me, and I guess they didn't motivate him to recruit anyone other than me and my friend. This was my sign to leave it alone, because they were not helping him and he wasn't helping me to do any better than he was, which was a lot of time wasted and wear and tear on my car at the time. If only I had learned my lesson before the next horror story. Dun dun dun. I like that, before the next. And she just leaves it at that. So we are going to read the rest of this individual's MLM horror stories in the next horror stories that we do. So if you guys are interested in listening to her other MLM horror stories, make sure to tune into the next horror stories that I do. On top of doing MLM horror stories, I also do take scam stories. So if you have been scammed online, if you have been scammed by influencers or anything like that, I also do read scam stories. And then say I was sent scam stories, I would just title my video MLM horror stories and scam stories, and then I'd mix them up in between. So if you also have not only an MLM horror story but a scam story that you want to send me, you can totally do that. But to this person, thank you so much for sending me your story. I did think it was funny how another MLMer had this person, let's call her Becky. So Becky sent me an MLM horror story, right? The MLMer told Becky, hey, come to this meeting, we're going to teach you about the business. And then Becky said, not interested, goes to leave. And then somebody else that was at the event talking about Amway then tries to recruit her, Becky, into a different MLM. I just think that's funny. It just shows that so many people in your area are probably recruited in an MLM already or being recruited into one. And I feel like in MLMs, a lot of the top leaders will say, we have an unlimited market. There's no one in your area. We're going into new countries. There's so many people to recruit. But when you have MLMers attending MLM, new business meetings, not realizing that they're going to another MLM's meeting, then we've seen that the market is not as big as they try and make it seem as if it is. So I'm glad that this person really did not continue on in the MLM. Love to hear it. So with that being said, don't forget to leave me a like and a comment. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And I will see you guys in the next video. Horror stories number 20. No. Number 93, they go, hi, Deanna, I'm so the MLMer messagers, the MLMer said, oh, decently keep to the meds, but they offer high, and well, just look at the screen. Well, once you've been I don't need to yawn 10 times. I got so much sleep. What the hell? Let's get it started. Migraine where? Migraine who?